just gone 8 AM and it is Thursday the 26th of March. Just got in, a little bit of a longer lie this morning as there was nothing setting up in the markets from last night. Had a quick check this morning before I left and nothing really lining up, so took my time. But got in and now we have a call with members in about half an hour. So I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee and then get set up for that. Maybe take some trades today. I see that pound yen is actually looking like we might get a trade on it at some point today, some long positions, but I'll keep you updated on that and check in if we do end up entering anything. We initially wanted to enter in here. Wait, maybe I can actually just get a line tool, that might be easier to draw. So we initially wanted to enter here and we wanted to put our stop loss 75 pips above price. Instead of that, I said, let's enter at where our stop loss was going to go and put our stop loss 75 pips above price. The big guys in this game, the hedge funds and stuff like that, they, they can see where retail traders are putting their stops just because they know how the markets work. And I know for a fact, everybody's going to be trying to short here with their stop just above that wick. So what I said instead was let's enter on our stop. And what happened? We entered on our initial stop loss and then price done that, right? Collapsed away from it. Really, really clean trade. Price pushed up. It would have stopped us out. We entered bang on where our stop was going to go, and what happened? Price fell away. Now you need to think about this from the way the big guys in this game are thinking about it. If they want to short, let's say 10k lots, right? And they want to short that in here. Now, if everybody else is selling at this area, they can't get the liquidity to, they need 10,000 lots to be bought up at this area for them to execute this position, right? For them to have that available liquidity. Now, because this is such an obvious area to short and everybody's shorting here, this is a selling market. There's no one to buy their 10,000 lots that they're selling, right? So effectively, what needs to happen is they need a massive amount of buying to take place for them to execute their size. Now, no buying's ever going to take place in anywhere in this region unless stops get hit. Because when you sell and your stop loss is up here, what happens when price hits your stop loss? You buy back your position at a higher price and you lose the difference, right? You buy back at a disadvantageous price from where you sold, you buy back at a higher price, you lose that money, okay? So loads of retail traders selling in here, stops up here. What happens when the market goes here? Huge buying, right? Huge amount of buying happens in here as all of these sellers get stopped out. And this is where the big guys can come in and execute their sell, right? Because they're able to sell where all those orders are being bought back. Does that make sense to everybody? Does anyone need me to kind of go over that? Can a few people just give me an okay to say that they can understand that or not?
Understand it.
Yeah. So that's it's a very crude, very basic example of liquidity. It's very simplified. Of course, it's not in those exact numbers or in that exact way, but effectively for the big guys to get their orders in, they need somebody to be taking the other side of their order, right? And that's how they can do it, by putting pending orders at obvious stop losses. If you have a stop loss above the high, just like that, and it's a really obvious place, that's where their pending order to go short is. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to get filled because when price pushes up and stops you out, they get their order filled. Now, you may think, is that true? Well, we entered at this level with no confirmation. We entered on that black line, no confirmation candles, no, 15-minute candle, nothing. And what happened? Price didn't even go into drawdown. It just collapsed from exactly where our stop losses would have been. And that is because our stop losses were in too obvious a place if we had entered down here. So we enter up here where we know the big guys are getting in. Very, very simple, right? I actually know traders who entered here, right? I actually know people who entered here and got stopped out when we got our order filled. The only reason I know that is when I put this screenshot up on Instagram, a few people then messaged me and said, oh, I got stopped out. I got stopped out in that region that you took your entry from. What was your confirmation? And I simply said, I had no confirmation. Obviously, we encourage to trade with confirmation, to use confluence and stuff like that. But sometimes you get a bit of intuition and you got to run with it. The same, I closed out here. I saw a little bit of a deceleration around this zone of structure. You'll see that in the day in the life that I put on YouTube, right? In this area, I saw some problems, right? I saw a few problem areas. I saw this one. Can everyone see these arrows and stuff, these annotations? I'm not just drawing this for myself, am I?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can see it.
So
yeah.
I saw this and this, and I thought, that looks like a relatively significant area of structure. And I flipped the chart and I said, would I want to be in buys at this moment? And when I flipped the chart, I thought that looks pretty grim for buys. That looks like this is going to happen. So what did we do? We closed the trade and we bought, right? Now this time we had some confirmation, we had some confluences. I actually put this in the community chat. I said I'm buying in. I gave my levels and stuff like that. But in here, we have some structure, which price is sitting on. It's rejected that 61.8 quite nicely, but it's below this 15-minute EMA. Now, I wasn't overly concerned about that, but we did enter on 0.25% risk. We are making higher lows. We have come up and broken this high and made a higher high, right? So this high has been broken to the upside, new high made, higher low made. We expect this, right? Nice and simple. Now, you know, as the markets are, it didn't go that simple, right? It just didn't happen as simple as I expected it to. We got all of this, right? So we had all of that chop that wasn't here, nice and clean, looks like it was going to make the move. Instead, we got lots and lots of chop. Big deal, right? We had a decent sized stop loss to keep us out of the way. And what happened was, okay, price done this, and then it came up and met our target. Now, if you look at a chart of GA this morning, let me just clear off those annotations. If you look at a chart of GA this morning, you'll see it went a heck of a lot higher, right? Went a heck of a lot higher. It actually done, our target was 183 pips. It done something like 500 pips, right? Is that a problem for us? No, we were only looking to be in the trade to that double top region. We were looking to be in and out and make some quick money, and that's what we done. But this is something that I wanted to talk about, and it's the reason I'm kind of laboring over these charts a little bit. This is where discretion really comes into trading, because what do we have here? We have a trend line, right? In fact, I'm better showing you that on this other chart here. We have, in here, we've got a trend line, right? And people think, okay, well, if the trend line breaks, the trade's invalid. And, you know, whilst that is true, what happened here? The trend line breaks, massive bearish engulfing. I didn't close my trade because what can I see? I can see there's a 78.60 fib here. And as well as that 78.60 fib, we also have structure, right? Structure. We've got this full level in here. When price breaks this level, time to shit yourself, right? If you're getting candle closes it down here and down here, the trades are gone, right? But what happened is price puked the weak hands at the table. As in, when this happened, people closed longs. Anybody who was long is starting to close out. When this happened, starting to close out, people closing out. When this candle pushed all the way down, what do you think people done? When this candle pushed down to literally a few pips above stops, people were taking out their short trades, right? They're buying back their shorts at a disadvantageous price, or they're selling, they're selling their longs at a disadvantageous price, a cheaper price. And then what does that do? It provides the liquidity for the up move to take place. So it's something to remember, right? When price is a few pips away from your stop and it's just squeezing your pain threshold and you're thinking, man, I'm going to close out. I really can't take this anymore. When you close that, has anybody ever done this? A trade's like a few pips away from your stop and you close it and it just turns and reverses the other way. Has that happened to anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why do you think that is? The reason it happens is because price is pushing down and you're not the only person to close out at this level. There's a lot of selling happening and then all the buyers start to close out, right? And it just provides that liquidity for the move to take place. It's, you start to sell back your orders and it just provides that liquidity for the move to take place, right? This is why if you have the analysis and you've calculated your stop properly, my stop in this situation was just below this candle. I saw this candle to be significant enough that I could put my stop just a few pips below it and that'd be fine. And I rode it out. I wasn't really worried about it. You'll see in that day in the life, I said, I'm thinking about closing it when it was up here. Well, I was thinking about closing it when I was up here because I entered here, right? So I was thinking about closing it when it was coming back to entry. I'll never think about closing something when it's nearly at my stop, right? It's just not the way I roll. I think if it's gone 0.8% against me, I'll let it go the full 1%. Okay? Nice and simple. That's a decent breakdown of that trade that we got on GA. Just got done with that 2-hour live call with the members that we start every morning with. And I've included a clip just previous to this where we talked a little bit about order flow and market dynamics and stuff like that. It is, of course, simplified. We're just trying to get the point across. But we've also looked at a few pairs that we're going to look to take trades on today. One of them is actually pound yen, which I'll take you over and show you just now. So here we have pound yen on a 4-hour. We're looking at, just like we kind of spoke about in the other day in the life, high to low move, pull back, new high to low move, breakout of the last significant high, which occurred here, and which occurred here rather. Small retest, price moved up. There's an alert on USD CAD, and we're now forming a rounded retest of this level and the 4-hour 40 period moving average, as well as that 50% fib of high to low. So really we're looking to see if we can potentially scale into this position. We're looking at 2 positions here. We may enter on half of a position here and then half of a position pending order where our stop loss is. If we do get flushed on this with a wick, we'll get in the next trade with a slightly better risk to reward. If we're on 0.5%, and that's a 9.5% trade, you're looking at 4.75% profit should we run to target. So definitely a worthwhile trade to be taking. We're not really looking at much else. USD CAD is now breaking out of this last significant low to the left here, and USD Swiss is actually breaking out of this trend line as we speak. So certainly could be a very, very busy day in the markets. We'll just need to see how it pans out. We're not overly looking to take too many trades today. Obviously have had a pretty good week so far. I'm not looking to try and give too much of that back by jumping into trades, by being too aggressive, or by forcing stuff. So really being patient, letting the setups come to us is something that we tell a lot of our members is let the setup come to you, right? If you're not sleeping or not going about your daily life properly because you're waiting for a setup, then you're forcing that trade, right? Set alerts on your chart. You should be able to get a good night's sleep and not worry about missing the move on pound yen. Last night, pound yen presented what looked like a good opportunity to scale in about midnight before I went to bed. I could have taken the trade there and woken up in the morning. First thing you're going to check is pound yen in profit, is it in loss? That's not how you want to start off your morning. I like to start off my morning flat, either no trades at all or in profit in a trade. I don't like to go to sleep and draw down on a trade, because usually you wake up and it's very, very hard to overcome that mental state of waking up and seeing you're in the red. So something that I spoke about in my LinkedIn article on my day in the life is I don't check the charts when I wake up. I don't check the charts until I get to my screens, and before I even get there, if I'm in trades and I expect them to be in loss, I do my affirmations. So okay, I expect Aussie dollar to be in loss. Here's how I'm going to act. If it's below this level, I'm going to do this. If it's above this level, I'm going to do this. And it means that you turn on your screens, you open up, okay, Aussie dollar, it's either in loss or in profit, right? If it's in profit, happy days. If it's in loss, you've already prepared for it. Is it below the level you said you were going to close at? Is it above the level you said you were going to hold it at? So if you kind of have that game plan mapped out, it's very easy to deal with it psychologically. This is a massively psychological game, and having the right mental approach and the right mental attitude is absolutely fundamental. So that's something that we'll potentially get on to maybe doing a little mini series on YouTube about, if anybody wants that, how I kind of deal with things mentally and how we encourage you to think. So I'm going to get on with some more chart work, and we'll check in next time we're doing something, or if we end up taking a trade. Okay, so first trade of the day is buys on pound yen. We're actually in 2 positions on this at the moment. If I take you over onto TradingView and just show you my analysis, really we're looking at just buying the 38.2 of this low to high fib on that structure point there. 38.2, we're above that 40 period moving average on this 4 hour as well, and we've had a really nice 4 hour sort of morning star there. If I just clear that chart off, down move, indecision, up move, relatively bullish candle there. So really nice sort of confirmation, and with a very wide stop on this. So 100 pips, that's about 60 pips higher than our typical stop, but it's still a 1 to 3.6 trade. I'm more than happy to go in with a bit of a wider stop, especially in these market conditions where price is a little bit choppy. And yeah, I would rather just get in 100 pip stop, 0.5% risk, and actually see it to target, rather than getting in with a tighter stop, trying to be a bit more aggressive and getting stopped out. So we'll see how this trade goes, and I'll update you as we go throughout the day. Okay, so again, there's absolutely nothing going on. Streets are empty. Pretty bizarre feeling, to be honest. About to nip into Sainsbury's to pick up a few things, and then head back to the office, check on how that trade's doing. Okay, so that's what the shopping's looking like so far. Bottle of Prosecco, a card, and some chocolates as well. This is just for the centre team in our building, because they're working really, really hard despite all the shit that's going on. So I guess it's nice to be nice. Maybe put a smile on their faces. So to be honest, it's been a pretty quiet afternoon. I've actually not eaten lunch yet, but the centre team who I bought the wine and the chocolates for, they came up to say thanks. So sat and chatted to them for like probably about an hour, and that trade's just still ticking along, so I'll show you in a minute. And then I also spent probably the best part of about 20 minutes trying to teach myself how to put on a t-shirt upside down. So maybe not the best use of time by any means, but hey, I'm gonna claim that this is all part of my plan to stay fit and healthy with all the gyms being closed. So I spent about 20 minutes doing that. Actually feeling really tired now, so I should probably go get something to eat, but I'll take you over and show you that trade on pound yen. We are running just over 100 quid at the moment, which obviously isn't massive, but we're only in on small sizes and a very low percentage risk. If I bring you over onto TradingView, on the 4 hour here, it's looking very, very good. We're getting quite a nice rounded retest of that level. However, I do think there is still potential for it to push further down, in which case we will probably pull the trades and re-enter at a bit more of an advantageous price. So gonna head through and grab some lunch now, and probably chicken and a wrap again today. So nothing exciting to show you. It'll be different once everything's open, when we're off lockdown. If I am still doing these kind of day in the life type vlogs, whatever, we will be going out for lunch to restaurants and stuff like that, so it may be a bit more interesting for you to watch. At the moment, obviously, I am extremely limited with what I can do to produce interesting content, being that everywhere's closed. So I'll check in with you when I'm sitting outside having some lunch. Definitely not the happiest looking lunch, but just chicken breast in a wrap, as always, and some water, and then a pretty depressing view just to match the undertone of what's going on in the world. Looking over onto pound yen, we've pushed up into profit for that 1 hour close at 2 o'clock, and hopefully we can just see a nice continuation through the rest of the New York session, and maybe get towards our first target before I end up going home sort of 5-6ish. It's certainly not a lot to ask for a pound pair to move like 100 pips in a session. Usually we can get like between 200 and 300, so let's see if we can get that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll let you know how we get on. Unfortunately, I'm getting ready to head home now from the office, and the first trade hasn't actually hit take profit just yet. So I've moved my stops to entry on both positions, and I'm actually going to pack up and head home, and hopefully, you know, throughout tonight, throughout the Asia session and the end of the New York, we get at least that first take profit hit, and then we're well on our way to our second take profit by the London session tomorrow when we come into the office. So I'm going to check in with you tomorrow and update you on how this trade's getting on. Okay, so actually not a bad day at all, very, very productive. Really good live with the members for 2 hours this morning, which a little clip of it's going to be in this video. And obviously in 2 trades on pound yen, which are both running risk-free at the moment. Now, I didn't actually manage to close out any profit today, which kind of sucks, but I'll be updating on those trades tomorrow. As they were taken today, I'm going to count them as today's trades. So this will be sort of episode 3, day in the life, but it'll continue over into tomorrow, and yeah, we'll just kind of continue on from there, and then it'll stop once we close those trades to kind of conclude day 3. So about to head home. It's actually 6:30, so this is the earliest I've been home this full week, and I'm actually looking forward to just chilling out. Probably not even going to check the charts when I get in, to be honest. Answer some client emails, and then yeah, just chill out for the rest of the night, getting a home workout, and then potentially wash my car at some point. It's absolutely filthy. I don't know if you can see that. You can actually see it there. I'll update you tomorrow. Take care. So I hadn't actually intended on looking at the charts again until I got into the office tomorrow morning, but an alert actually fired off on my phone to say the price was near my first take profit. So I've just set up my laptop in my home office, and I'm just actually monitoring price pretty closely to see if I can catch it on film. I'm trying to catch as many take profits being hit on film as I can, just sort of make these day in the lives a little bit more interesting. The time is currently 7:45, so that's PM, and let's see, hourly candle is just closed, or sorry, 15-minute candle is just closed. We currently have 15 minutes until the hourly closes, and we're looking like a really nice bullish engulfing hourly. So if we don't hit it on this hourly candle, we'll probably hit it on the next, but I'll check back in when that happens. Come on. Take profit hit. So there we go, one position closed, and the second position still running, so we'll check on that in the London tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next morning. I'm actually heading into the office as we speak. It's 7:25, and that second half of that trade actually stopped out overnight, just slightly in profit. So of course I'll show you that when we stop. So made like £500 on the first position, which hit take profit. I showed you that, and then I just trailed my stop loss to behind the last significant low, and price just traded down throughout the night and took me out for around about £200. So still very, very up for the week. Very, very positive week. I've not actually really taken a loser this week. You know, I've closed a couple of trades with like a £20-30 loss, just trying to get into a position, but overall for the week I've not taken any like real losses, so really, really happy with that. And yeah, when we get to the office, I'll actually show you that trade and where I trailed my stop loss to and stuff like that, give you a breakdown on the chart, so catch up with you when we get there. I don't know if you can see that. So that's the second half of the position that actually got stopped out just on that trailed stop loss. So stopped out for £200 profit. I'm going to jump over into the charts and give you a breakdown of that now. So you're obviously looking at my screen to the left. To keep things very, very simple, we had a breakout of a trend line in here, descending trend line, breakout to the upside, retest. So we were interested after we had this second touch on this ascending trend line here, right? So you can see this is the clear sort of breakout region. Price is broken out, it's retested, it's starting a new uptrend, right? Now we were still below the 40 period moving average. We don't like to buy below the 40 period moving average, and we don't like to sell above it. So we like that as an added confluence for price. So the next thing to do was to fib this low to this high up here. So low to high. Price pulled back and it was sitting on the 38.2. Confluenced by that previous structure there. And then simply jumping down onto the H1. This is the candle, this was our confirmation candle. You can see we've retested that 40 period moving average there. And then we've produced a bullish engulfing and a bullish pin bar. So we simply took a buy position from here, very wide stop, sort of 100 pips, with our first target being the 0 on this fib. First target being the 0 on that fib for 200 pips. In fact, we're just above that, for 228 pips rather. Really, really nice sort of quick movement up to that. Very impulsive. And then before I actually went to sleep last night, I trailed my stop loss to just under this low here, and prices come back down and actually just taking me out of my trailed stop loss. So I'm not really too bothered. I don't like to be in trades over the weekend anyway. I still think there is very much bullish potential on pound yen. You can see we're sitting on some prior structure there, and if we just put in a new fib from this low to this high, you can see we're sitting on that 38.2 again. So I think there is plenty of room for pound yen to just push up and tap that -27 over the course of today. But that's a very, very quick, very, very simple and clean breakdown of why we took this trade. You can even pull that back and use this structure to the left, but we don't like to do that too much. Keep things nice and tight, exactly what you're looking at. If I zoom out, you can see this entire chart is bare. It's totally clean. I clean off my charts regularly and just dial back in, look at a specific area, work that area, and then move on. Try and not get too conflicted about what's going on in other places. Now, if we get some spinning tops here on this structure in the 38.2, I may just enter another 0.5% and ride up to that -27 for, let's see, stops below there, for 2-3%. So that's a simple breakdown on that pound yen trade. Let me know what you think, let me know if you have any questions. Right, so evidently I'm not in the office anymore. I actually left around about 4:30, something like that, and I'm just home now. So the reason I left is I've had like a really, really good week in the markets. I've made just over 5k. And
you know, everything's been going really, really well this week. I smashed through all the work I had to do today, and sometimes it's like, it's good to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take my foot off the gas a little bit now. There's no point in being in at like 5 p.m. on a Friday when the markets are dead. End of the London session, like middle of the New York session, you're not really going to see much of a move. So in my opinion, there's pretty much no point in being in. Get the journal filled out and get home. So to take you through, let's see if I can get this to focus. To take you through my trade, so you can see obviously there for the week we're looking at 5k profit. So if I just take you up the screen, sorry, I'm trying to do this, my coordination's pretty terrible. Started out with some trades on euro dollar, and then you can see I just drastically dropped my lot sizes down as we got into the week. The market conditions were really, really choppy, and I wanted to get in with some wider stops. There you go, I'll just hold that for a sec. I mean, usually I'm a bit of a sucker for trying to get in with like really aggressive stop losses, pinpoint entries and stuff like that. But being able to adapt to these market conditions and say, okay, this just isn't working, like trying to be really aggressive, the markets are too choppy, drop the lot sizes, get them wider stops, and it turned out to be one of my best weeks yet. So, I mean, it just kind of stands to show, I don't believe in sticking to one strategy. I don't like it when people say I'm a swing trader or I'm a day trader or I'm a scalper. I think you should be able to be all of them. You know, when the market suits swing trading, you should be able to swing. When the market suits day trading, you should be able to day trade. And I think that's why a lot of people either, you know, limit their success in these markets or don't get successful at all, because they're trying to be one type of trader all the time. And you know, there's a time to swing and there's a time to scalp, and I think if you can do both, if you can learn how to do everything and become good and efficient through back testing and journaling, if you can become good at multiple different strategies and have a full toolbox, I think, you know, you can survive pretty much any market conditions. But it's Friday and I'm going to go enjoy, well, I'm going to enjoy nothing because we're in lockdown, but I'll probably have a few beers and chill out, and then into the office tomorrow to do a weekly analysis update for our members, and then I'll probably take Sunday off, and then back in on Monday. So I may resume this into next week. We'll see how it goes. If the response is still pretty good on these videos, then I'll continue to do them. I still think it'd be pretty interesting to document the whole lockdown experience and trading through it, and I'll catch up with you guys then. So take care everybody, enjoy your weekend, and thanks for watching as always. If you are interested in any of our services, or you just want to follow along with our sort of journey as a company, feel free to subscribe and stay in touch. So thanks for watching guys, take care.